All right, we're going to explain how to assemble the HAREI Ladder Lift right here. These are the pieces for it. The first step is to make sure you understand exactly how high of a space you're going to use and where it's going to land. You want to set it up at the base. You do want the ladder to extend above wherever you're going to do roughly a panel height, because you want to lift the panel up and over. So these are all the components of the ladder lift. This is the it's just an extension to the car. It makes it easier to slide. This is the main piece of the main ladder. I'll get back to that in a minute. This is the car. So this is actually what's going to ride on the rails, and we're going to mount the panels to that. The key is you must put the car on before you connect the parts of the ladder together. You cannot put this on after you've bolted it together. This is the motor. It actually goes on the other side, the back side of the ladder. Once we do it, we actually won't install that until afterwards, but we do need to get the wire threaded through it. And this is the top half. This is an extension, so if you don't need it, you can unbolt this section and take that off, and you don't need, if you don't need that extra height. If you do, then leave it connected. And obviously the very top is the pulley, and that's where the top of the wire is going to go. All right, so the first thing you need to do is to put the ladder down roughly where you're going to start, and you need to put it down, put the bottom at the bottom of where the bottom's going to be, and it has to be on this side. So notice that we have these special rails. That's where the motor's going to go, but these poles are a little further down on this side. There's more room on this side and less room on this side. So you want to make sure that the ladder is on this side. This is the side that the car is going to ride on. So again, the first thing to do is to install the car on the ladder before you bolt it together. All right, this is the, again, installing the car. You have to put the car on the ladder before you bolt the two halves of the ladder together, because you can't put it on otherwise. Because you have to get these two little wheels to go on either side of the rail. And it is very important that you have the wood end, where the hook is, at the bottom of the ladder, at the foot of the ladder, because that's what's going to go around the pulley, and it's going to hook into here, and then we're going to lift it up. Okay, let's put it on. So these 45-degree angle bars are probably stowed, so you do have to reattach those in the correct place, because they are not actually normally slid on. So now slide it all the way down, and we're just going to leave the car there for now. Hang on. All right, the next step is to bolt the two halves together. Again, make sure that they are in the same orientation. If you need the extension, you would need it. So we're just going to slide these in. They go on the inside. Jan, you want to help out? You need to. They have to go on the inside. And it should have all of the bolts. It should be a complete set of bolts. If they're not, which they get lost all the time, so you might have to make a run to the hardware store and get some new bolts. All right, the next step is to get the cable wired up to the ladder itself. So let's move the motor again down to the bottom of the ladder. Oh. And it wants to be that orientation. It doesn't have to be right at the bottom. It doesn't matter.
I was going to say, we usually 4 or 5 runs up.
All right, again, we need to extend the cable. So the first thing you have to do is pull this pin out and then twist it so that it's at an angle. And now, unhook the pin, now the cable will come free. So we go all the way down. And again, the key is it's got to be on the other side of the car. So it's on the back side. So go through the pulley. And then back up on the other side all the way down. hooks into this hook right here. It's got to go under the car. Can you get that in there? All right. All right, the next step is to stand the ladder up. So again, you need a person standing at the bottom, or even two, because they're going to hold this end down. And then you need at least two guys at this end to lift it up. All right, start lifting it up. Once it's up vertical, we're actually going to rotate it 180 degrees. So that's the key with the bottom, is that you have to have enough weight at the bottom to hold it and hold the bottom in place. Okay, we're gonna turn, the trick is to turn the entire thing 180 degrees, and then we're gonna lean it into there. And somebody's got to get the cable underneath. Got to make sure you have enough angle.
Make sure it hits that staging up there, Steve.
And we're gonna make sure it's got to be up on. It's got to move it to the left.
Gotta go toward the trailer. Toward the trailer. Good. Next time we lift it, can somebody put that foot down?
Okay. Make sure the feet are nice and stable. All right.
Okay.
And then the key is you definitely want to make sure that up near the top, the ladder itself is secured to the railing or roof or wherever, because you want the top to be very stable.
Steve?
Yeah, and it's very important, like I said, to always make sure that it's secured, that the ladder lift is secured somewhere near the top. Again, either to scaffolding or to the roof. The next step is to mount the motor. So we're going to pick the motor up, and the key is the top of it goes on this particular rail. Notice that this rail has a very special thing, and the bottom also is going to clip into this other one, which is extra strong. So notice that we've roughly centered it, and then now we're ready to rotate this. And when you do that, notice that the bottom then gets nice and tight, and we need to put the pin in. Very important to put the pin in, absolutely required. All right. So notice now that we've got the wire on all the way to the top, and it comes back down to the bottom. We'll talk about how to operate it next. All right, so we've mounted it, we've plugged it in, and the next step is to make sure that there's some tension on this wire when you're first taking up all the slack. So go ahead and wind it up. The one on the right is tighten or goes up, and the button on the left is down. Not exactly the fastest thing around, which is why sometimes we do 2 panels at a time, but most of the time we're just going to do 1. Right now we've got all the slack out, so now again the right hand button goes up. Notice that the whole car goes up, and the left hand button goes down. Have this optional panel support as well. You don't have to use this, but it does make it usually easier. So go ahead and set this on. This will slide smoothly up the ladder. You want to make sure the 2 little pieces are on either side, and that just gives you another thing to strap a panel to, and make sure that the panel isn't scratching on its way up, and the panel's resting on this way. Normally the panels are laid on in landscape mode, but it depends really on your particular setup and how windy it is too, on whether you want to send them up portrait. You can usually do it either way. A couple other minor points. You do want to make sure the ladder has sufficient angle. It should be angled roughly something along these lines so that everything is going to go up nice and smoothly and not blow off or anything. The other thing is that this ladder is not to be climbed by a human. These rungs are not designed to have feet on them at all. This is designed to send material up this ladder. All right, and then in order to take it apart, you basically reverse all the steps. The objective is to put everything together, the real key is to make sure that all the nuts and bolts are screwed into place, and we'll put it all on the ladder, on the trailer when we're done. And always remember HAREI's motto, which is safety first. So we want to make sure there's plenty of room, that everything is secured, and that everyone is being safe. If you're down here below it, below the ladder, you should be wearing a helmet. Absolutely. You do have to be careful of, and make sure that when the panel is going up, it has enough room on either side to clear it, and that there's enough room to get the panel off up at the top. One more small thing is that when you do take it apart, when you're done, put the bolts back inside of the holes, and you must tighten them. You must screw them down, because they will loosen and rattle and fall off, because we haul the trailer all over the place.